This has been a year unlike any other. The devastation of October 7th turned Israel and the Jewish world upside down. Many of us cannot think about anything else. It is all-consuming. How do we talk about anything else during this time of year? I am constantly asking, what is next? And yet the devastation of October 7th remains the same. I still hold back tears as I scroll through the news of international and local events in response to October 7th. It has gotten harder and harder, and it was really hard before. I didn't know I could cry so much about a child I'd never met. There have been many nights where I was awake and frantic at 2 a.m. checking the news. There were days when I could not focus, when all I thought about were the hostages, when I couldn't stop thinking about young people and their families. Each response to October 7th holds grief, and now it feels that there have been too many more events, and there'll probably be more. But how could there be more devastation with no end that we can see? October 7th will now be remembered among the unforgettable dates of Jewish history. The destruction of the temples, Kristallnacht, the founding of Israel, the assassination of Yitzhak Rabin, the Pittsburgh tragedy, all of these days stick in our minds forever. And perhaps tears will always come to our eyes when we hear of them. We are changed internally and externally because of them. When our matriarch Sarah died, Abraham was profoundly affected. When Sarah was alive, Abraham seemed young and vigorous, and after she passed away, you could really feel his old age. And this transformation needs to be acknowledged within us as well. It needs to be felt for us to move forward. A year later, we can ask ourselves, how do we continue to hold the current tragedy of the war in Israel, the tragedies of those who are lost, of those who are held hostage? How can we bask in the joy of a new year while knowing there is still unrest for many in our world? It feels like a war on my emotions, as psychoanalyst and philosopher Robert Stillerow puts it. He argues that we live in a happiness-driven society which decrees painful emotions like grief, sadness, anger, guilt, and despair, labeling them as pathological instead of as normal. But we need to notice our patterns, habits, and external and internal sensations that are linked to our feelings. We see all of this in our Torah, the people feeling overwhelmed with emotion. In Exodus, a loud cry echoes throughout Egypt when the firstborn sons die. There shall be a loud cry in all the land of Egypt, such as never have been or will be again. Surforno, a commentator, argues that this happened when it was a night when Egypt was at peace, and never again would there be such an outcry in midst of peace. We can contrast this with the Israelites' experience of a 10th plague. We were set free in the middle of a night. In one night, both sadness and happiness were felt, a moment of release for both. Since October 7th, 2023, there has been music, food, and joy, and there have been tears, funerals, and tragedies. But finding a balance between those things is crucial, for this balance offers us comfort. I'm reminded of a Talmudic teaching, Elu ve'elu, these and those. For 3 years, Beit Shammai and Beit Hillel disagreed. One said, the law is according to my opinion. And the other said, no, the law is according to my opinion. And a divine voice emerged saying, both these and those are the words of the living God. Both opinions are correct and valid. The same is true with the conflict. We can be frustrated, joyful, sad, relieved, confused, and understanding, all at the same time. They're all okay responses. As author F. Scott Fitzgerald wrote, the task of a first-rate intelligence is the ability to hold two opposed ideas in the mind at the same time and still retain the ability to function. One should, for example, be able to see that things are hopeless, yet be determined to make them otherwise. It is precisely because most people cannot hold contrasting truths that there is a conflict in Israel. There's a Japanese word, setsunai, that captures this wrestling. Nina Coombs wrote, Setsunai carries an implication of something once bright, now faded. It is a painful twinge at the edge of a memory of someone you have loved, all the while knowing that that person is no longer with you. It is a sting of time passing. It is a joy afloat in the knowledge that everything is temporary. All of those responses are natural responses and can help us release stress and ameliorate pain. We are prohibited from expressing sadness and crying on Shabbat, on this holy day, the Shabbat of all Shabbats. But there is an exception. Rabbi Moses Isserles, a Polish rabbi of the 14th century, argued, if the only way to experience the joy of Shabbat is to cry, to release the pain in one's heart, then it is permitted. On this exceptional day, we must release our pain to move forward. Author Myra Sack lost her toddler to Tay-Sex after only 2.5 years of her being alive and living a compromised existence, not being able to speak or walk. Sack wrote in her memoir, I feel the 1-year anniversary of your death looming, and I'm afraid of it. My mind is caught in a fog of disbelief. I'm afraid of being leveled by the intensity of revisited emotion, of the summoning of visceral memories of your last weeks, days, and breaths with us. But I'm also afraid that I won't feel enough, that I won't feel the pain deep enough or full enough, and I don't want to be numb, even if it's just a little bit around the edges. We can all understand Sack's words. Perhaps you are coming up on that anniversary, whether it be 1 year or 10 years. We come to Yizkor for many different people and for many different reasons. And our main purpose is to acknowledge and feel the pain of our losses. The initial sadness has evaporated, but deaths have not left our memory. In fact, Jewish tradition insists that the dead not be forgotten. Approaching the 1-year mark is daunting and difficult to comprehend the passage of time. As Sack suggests, how can we be here? In Judaism, a year after death signifies a time for an unveiling or a hakamat hamatzeva, the unveiling of a monument of a loved one's tombstone. We erect a matzeva in memory and honor of our beloved dead, a tradition that came from Jacob, who placed a monument on the grave of his wife, Rachel. The final component of an unveiling is to place a stone on the monument as a sign of love and enduring memory. This stone symbolizes a lifting of weight of the stone off of our hearts and taking a step back. The Hebrew word for pebble is sror, which also means bond. In the dirge, El Male Rachamim, we ask that the deceased be bound up in the bond of life, Sor HaChaim. By placing our stone, we show that our individual's memory will continue to live on. We too can create an unveiling ceremony, each of us, to recognize the monumental loss the Jewish people have endured this year. To emulate the gesture of erecting a monument and placing stones on a grave, I am placing this stone on the chairs of the hostages to demonstrate my support. Placing this stone in homage to those we have lost this year as a community and as a people. Each of you were given stones as you came in, to either take with you, to place on your loved one's grave, or to place on a chair to remember those who have died this year. The song Al Kol Ele by Naomi Shemer reminds me to find holiness in every moment, even the truly terrible ones. She writes, guard over these things, the honey and the bee sting, the bitter and the sweet, our baby daughter, my God of goodness, the burning flame, the pure water, the one who comes home from afar. Guard over all these things, I plead, my God of goodness. Do not uproot what has been planted. Do not forget the hope. Return me, and I will return to the land of goodness. All of our life experiences contain sparks of the sacred, even those that cause us pain. I want to end this sermon with a montage of all of those lost in Israel alongside the song Al Kol Ele.
המר והמתוק, על ביתנו התינוקת שמור אלי הטוב, על האש המבוערת, על המים חזקים, על האיש השב הביתה מן המרחקים, על כל שמור נא לי אלי הטוב, על הדבש ועל העוקץ, על המר והמתוק, על נטע כל נטוע, אל תשכח את התקווה, השיבני ונשובה אל הארץ הטובה. שמור אלי הזה הבית, על הגן, על החומה, מיגון, מפחד, פתח וממלחמה. שמור על המעט שיש לי, על האור ועל הטוב, על הפרי שלא השיב לי עוד ושנאסף, על כל שמור נא לי אלי הטוב, על הדבש ועל העוקץ, על המר והמתוק, על נטע כל נטוע, אל תשכח את התקווה, השיבני ונשובה אל הארץ הטובה. מרשרש אילן ברוח, מרחוק נושר כוכב, משנות ליבי בחושך נרשמות עכשיו. אנא שמור לי על כל אלה, ועל אהובי נפשי, על השקט, על הבכי ועל